Chances are you've probably heard about or maybe even seen the incredible, vibrant auroras present this last week and also these last several months. Did you know that auroras are the result of solar flares emitted by the sun? You see, the sun is actually in its most active phase right now in an 11-year cycle where it will actually switch north and south poles in an event called polar field reversal. Building up to solar field reversal, the sun emits more frequent, stronger solar flares along with other activity including high-speed winds and coronal mass ejections. These events release highly charged particles that hit and interact with the Earth's magnetic field. This interaction produces the auroras as these particles are funneled to the Earth's north and south pole. The aurora is a physical reflection of a shift of quantum information that's present due to these charged particles interacting with the subtle energy plane that underlies all material reality. Your energy field is a part of this subtle energy plane. Your energy field is included in this grand energy field that is our solar system. So from an astrological perspective, these solar flares absolutely influence our lives and experience. And here's how. My practice as an astrologer applies this principle of fractal geometry, this concept that nature repeats itself from the macro to micro levels of life. In the same way that we find the Fibonacci sequence in the structure of a galaxy to the center of a sunflower. We have these repeating structures in our world, and each one of us is a micro expression of the macro solar system at a specific moment in space-time, that's the moment we were born. And so there's a reflection in our own energy dynamics when there is a shift to this grander pattern that we are all a part of. And when looking at you like a little solar system, the sun's function in our solar system is comparable to your heart's function in your life. And this is significant to share because when we're seeing an increase in solar activity, this is the principle that's being affected in your life. In the same way that the sun is the centralized force that everything else revolves around, the fire plasma source that heats and lights the whole solar system, so does your heart as the center of your energy field, as this centralizing force, the strongest energy field in your collective energy field, does this for your life. So as we see the solar activity increasing and stirring, so we see a reflection of this principle in our hearts, the igniting of our hearts. And this directly correlates with the fire element. The fire element in astrology is connected to identity and purpose. You know, who are you and what is your purpose here? You know, we think about the heart in your life, people who are heart-centered, following their hearts. You know, what are they following? They're following passion, excitement, this sense of being alive. And through that, we do find our identity, who we are, and what we're meant to do here. And so in this way, our hearts are like charged and interacting with these charged particles from the sun that are very excitable. But sometimes this excitement doesn't always come out in the most pleasant of ways. There can be perhaps a dissatisfaction that you're feeling with things in your life right now, and that's really communicating to you that perhaps you're out of alignment or feeling a lack of purpose in where your life force energy is going. These are things to pay attention to because this is your heart speaking to you. This is your heart stirring and saying, I am not okay with the way things are right now. Or perhaps you feel just a lot of passion for what you are doing, this sense of like call towards action if you do have a sense of purpose in where your energy is going. But there can also be, with the fire element, impatience. You know, fire is here to transform and can transform things very quickly. And so this fire element can sometimes move a lot faster than earth, than this physical plane that we live in. And so this impatience with how long things can take in our lives when we feel ready to change, irritability, anger can certainly be part of the fire element. Feeling angry at something, you know, anger is here to transform. It's a very transformative emotion in our lives. And when we feel angry about something, that is typically a message from our hearts that we are not okay with a certain assimilation of circumstances and a call to change that. So with all of this solar activity, this is what's really being activated in us, a stirring of our own hearts for the purpose of transformation, the purpose of finding our passion, feeling ignited, feeling alive. And this can be a very powerful force in your life that you can utilize to enact change, to transform things, to be in greater alignment with who you know yourself to be and your sense of purpose here. So there is an opportunity to co-create with these solar flares, to flow with this 11-year cosmic cycle that's taking place right now, to channel your fire into avenues where there's a sense of purpose for you. There are layers to this, and it's going to show up in everyone's life a bit differently. You know, this could be a time where it is a burn the forest down kind of phase and build anew. Or something more subtle, these subtle redirections of our own fire, of our own light, that are really beneficial for the entire structure of our world. You know, the more we're living from heart consciousness, the more that we're living from our light, the better this world is for everyone. And some of the layers to this is the pioneering, the blazing of a new trail, the trusting of your instincts. You know, fire is irrational. Fire is not, does not operate in the logical realm of life. It calls us to do something that doesn't make sense sometimes. We're just called to do it. And if you feel your intuition, your instincts pulling you in an area, that's a really, that's something to look at and to give weight to. And I might even recommend really taking action on that because it's coming from this deeper place inside of you, this soul wisdom that is ultimately going to align and transform your life to be more in alignment with your light essence. And no matter what happens, no matter what transforms, you know, fire can be scary. Fire does transform things. We like the familiar. We like safety, things to stay the same, but that is not the function of fire in our lives. And so we have to reckon with our fear of stepping out and trusting our hearts in where they're calling us. And so that's another element here that could be really unsettling for some people. The knowingness that they are called into a new area that is perhaps terrifying, the knowing that they're going to have to make changes and shifts in their lives. But I really recommend that you follow your heart and trust that wherever it leads you is not only the best for you, but the best for this entire world. So one concept, one trait, one expression that I really invite you to have for yourself when co-creating, when flowing with this fiery energy is compassion. Compassion, that passion element, is definitely in fire. And compassion literally means to suffer together. And so to have compassion for someone else's human experience, in order to give compassion, you have to have compassion for yourself. So self-compassion is essential in this journey as well. understanding the complexity of your own human experience and not judging it. And also knowing that the fiery transformation that takes place is not always pleasant. There could be suffering involved in the things and the decisions you have to make, watching other people in your life possibly go through intense transformation, things shifting, the fear. There's definitely an element of suffering that is there for us to experience. We're here as humans to experience it all, not just the fluffy, safe, stable parts of life, but to experience these transformations. And how can you have more self-compassion and therefore offer it to others? And so this energy in general is definitely activating your sun sign, wherever your sun sign is by zodiac and house, and also other aspects with planets, is definitely within this energy. Where the sun was when you were born is indicative of how you want to shine your light in this life, this central force that's calling you into purpose. And so look at that for a little bit of guidance here. And if you want to dive deeper into this, then check out my offerings below to work with me directly. I would be happy to do that, as this chapter is going to continue for the rest of the year. The astronomers are expecting this pole reversal to take place at the end of 2024, maybe beginning of 2025. And so we're probably going to experience more solar flares in these coming months. And so if you're feeling this activation of your own fire and a call to move it and do something with it and needing some guidance there, well, I'd be more than happy to dive into that with you, dive into the stars and soul. But regardless, I would love to hear, have you been feeling a stirring of your heart, this ignition of passion and just excitability in your life that may have shown up one way or another? I invite you to leave a comment below to share some of your experience. And thanks so much for watching today. I hope that you find these channels to align your heart and your life force to ultimately create and live a life of greater purpose.